What is up, Knights of Vex? A new 3v3 season is upon us, and we have to talk about the best teams for the up-and-coming season. If you guys are new here, I like to break this up into three separate categories. We have the best defensive teams, offensive teams, and a third category I like to call flex, which includes teams that can be used either on offense and defense, depending on your strategy for the season. It is a very long season, so there's a lot of changes up to this list. You're going to see a couple characters and squads repeated in multiple areas because I like to change it up, especially in the top end of Grand Arena Kyber 1. People are going to start to know your number, and you got to change it up a little bit, and they're going to study your defense, and you got to change it up. So we're going to get into all of that today. Really fun stuff. New characters, new Datacron set. We have Cassian, we have the ISB. Need to figure out where best to use them. But before we get into the list, guys, I have a little bit of a personal question for you guys. If you guys are new here, or if you've been following me for a while, you guys need to know that I am one of the biggest coffee drinkers ever. 2 cups a day, 1 in the morning, 1 at night, maybe decaf at night if I don't want to stay up too late, but I have a question for you. And that's pretty much answering the fact that there are 2 types of people in this world. There are the people that drink coffee to wake up, and then there's the type of person that wakes up to drink coffee. So I want to know, to the Knights of X around the globe, which person are you? Are you drinking coffee to wake up? Are you waking up to get to that first cup of coffee? I think I'm option 2. I think I wake up to drink coffee because it is that enjoyable. And let me know what type of person you are and what your favorite coffee is, because I'm always super interested. Freaking delicious. That is a maple pecan Nespresso cappuccino. Highly recommend it for anyone out there that's a coffee drinker. But with that out of the way, let's get to the fun part, and that's going to be the defensive list. So let's start things off hot. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole controversy today with the whole Ezra nerf. It is going to impact major defensive teams that we've had in the past, but let's try to stay positive here. We're going to talk about Galactic Legend Rey, and the best team I'm going to use for her this season is going to be with Luminara's Focus Datacron. If you guys aren't aware of what that's doing, every time an enemy attacks out of turn, they're going to be hit with Protection Disruption. That's a pretty strong mechanic against Galactic Legend Rey, because with Galactic Legend Rey, because a lot of her counters require attacking out of turn. I cannot talk right now. So counters like Malicos, Queen Amidala, all of those teams are calling assist, and that's going to inflict Protection Disruption. So maybe when you're going against Rey and they have an unlucky Protection Disruption against them, that could maybe cause some issues. So I think Luminara is going to be a good third option if you have the Focus Datacron. If you do not have Luminara, I highly suggest OG Cal. I think he's going to be the best third slot for Rey. The only issue with that is that he does so well with an Ufu team with Sierra Malicos that it kind of can cause a little bit of a damper in that original team. But I'll be fluctuating between Cal and Luminara. But for the most part, I have the Luminara Focus Datacron at max level. She's going to go with Rey for the first half of the season. So that is going to be the first team. Next up, Stranger Wall. Still going to be a very strong team in Grand Arena. No longer have the Focus Datacron. It is now expired, but it doesn't mean it's a bad team. It's still one of the best teams in this game in Grand Arena. So if anyone is a new Maul Hate-Fueled owner, you're in luck, because with a Dark Side 25% turn meter, this team is still pretty nasty. And now that the Bad Batch Cron is expired, we're going to have to figure out other counters that are hopefully not as expensive as Lord Vader, because Lord Vader is going to be a very strong defensive team this season, as you're going to see in the next teams category, or the next team up and coming. Lord Vader is going to be good on defense. But for the most part, if you're going to set Stranger with Maul and Maul Hatefield and Starkiller is what I meant to say, the 25% turn meter is going to be your friend. You're going to practically get out ahead of Satele and cause major issues. So I'm really liking this team on defense. Again, next up, Lord Vader clones. What I'm going to probably do with them is set them on defense and put a max health damage level 3. That does really well with Vader's debuff damage on his second special. It does massive, massive damage. It could potentially shut down pirates. We're going to have to see. Highly recommend getting a high protection cron with him. Maybe some crit damage, some defense. Satele is up and running for countering Lord Vader, so keep in mind that if you do have a defense Datacron for Lord Vader, Satele is going to ignore that defense with true damage. So if you want to try to protect your Lord Vader as much as possible, I highly recommend going for a high protection cron with him with the max health damage level 3. And we're going to have to see how he shapes the meta. Obviously, Bane's going to be very strong against him, but Bane is also strong against a lot of other teams. So Lord Vader is going to be very good on defense this season. Now, next up, I have a pair combination because both options are really, really strong. It depends on what you're trying to stop. The first one I'm recommending is going to be Balin with Shin and OG Hondo with Balin's Focus Datacron. This causes issues for multiple Galactic Legends, specifically Jabba. Jabba has a very hard time against the Hondo lineup. Now, previous season, I used Jabba against Balin with Shin and Marok all season long, and it was very effective for me. With Hondo in the lineup, it causes issues. But the thing is, if you bring in OG Hondo, it kind of opens up the door for something else like Bo-Katan Mandalore. So you got to try to pick your poison. If you can get your opponent to use one of these teams on another squad, it opens up the door for Balin. Also, JML is going to have a very big issue and trouble with Balin this season with the Focus Datacron. So, me personally, I will be fluctuating these two teams to see what's going to be performing better and trying to just change it up with my opponent. So, OG Hondo and Marok, obviously going to be very good options for this team. Next up, which is going to be the fluctuating pair with Pirate King Hondo and the Vayne Focus Datacron. So, me personally, the one I had the most struggle with was the double tank lineup. You got Quiggold and Vayne. By far, the most difficult for Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, in my opinion, because there's something in Quiggold's kit, I don't remember off the top of my head, but he cannot get stunned, I think, if he has 5 stacks of whatever that high armor buff is. I always forget. So if you're not able to stun him, and he's doing a lot of splash damage, he could actually melt a Hux pretty fast. So, Vayne, obviously you know the Vayne is one of the best of the set. Probably, it is the best of the set. One of the strongest Datacrons ever printed for a regular set. And Quiggold is going to cause nothing but issues. Now, if you don't want to use Quiggold here, you can throw in OG Hondo, because OG Hondo is very annoying. It doesn't necessarily stop JMK, Cat, and Watt, but it can stop a number of other things. So these two are going to be your strongest Pirate King Hondo comps for the season, and I will be fluctuating between the both. Alright, now, this is where it gets boring, and this is unfortunately, again, I'm not going to get into it, but this team is locked in forever. There's no more plug and play with Ezra anywhere else. If you use him somewhere else besides with Ahsoka, he's practically a useless character. So, the days of Ahsoka and Wat Tambor are unfortunately over because it makes Ezra useless. So, me personally, I think the best third for an Ahsoka lineup is going to be Hoi Yang, specifically because he gives her ultimate charge, like, super fast. Insanely fast compared to any of the other Spectres. So, Hoi Yang will be the best third for Ahsoka. Hopefully, it'll be strong this season. I think that you got to be very cautious of Great Mothers. So, if your Ezra isn't lightning fast, like, I made sure Ezra's one of the fastest characters on my squad. I'm just going to show really quick. 381 speed. He's probably my fastest spotted character on my entire roster. It's specifically meant to shut down Night Sister. So if you are going to set this on defense, make sure your Ezra is outspeeding your opponent's Great Mothers, because that is not a counter you want to go, for your opponent. It's simply not worth for you. But regardless, this is always going to be a defensive team. Now, let's get into the fun stuff. Some newer characters, and I've had a lot of time to think about this, and I will explain everything in a second, but the first team is going to be Cassian with Cinta and Vel, and that's going to be the first team with the Focus Datacron. I just think, personally, that there's too much synergy between Luthen and Kleia to be paired with Cassian. Will it make a super team? More than likely, yes. But I'm pretty sure whatever you're going to use to counter Cassian is going to work regardless if there's Luthen or Kleia in the lineup. So, I think the best split is going to be Cinta and Kaz. And if you want to make use for your Saw Omicron, use Luthen, Rael, and Kleia, because they have simply so much synergy together. And especially if Saw Gerrera is in the lineup for the Curator or Axis bonus, I think it's Axis, they get other benefits. Now, what I was thinking of was, can I figure out a way to make Chirrut and Baze work with Saw and keep Luthen and Kleia with something and someone else or something like that? And personally, as much as I hate to admit this, Saw Gerrera is a top-notch team when paired with Luthen, but when he's not with Luthen, he's not nearly as powerful as he would be. Like, he needs the extra speed, the bonuses that Luthen is giving to Rebel fighters. I think that Saw Gerrera is just simply going to be weak without Luthen, so I don't really want to give up Kleia's synergy in the Omicron. So, unfortunately, for this season, Chirrut is going to sit on the bench until I figure out what to do with him, or maybe this team isn't performing as well as it could. One option I was thinking of was probably swapping out Saw with maybe Mon Mothma, but I think that Mon Mothma is going to be too easy of a counter for these two, especially with the Omicrons for something like Traya and maybe even Iden Versio. You don't know. You just simply don't know. Maybe Iden Versio walks right over that team. So if you wanted to include 3 teams, it would be Mon Mothma, Luth, and Clea. And then you would do like Saw, Chirrut, and Baze with the Chirrut focus, or the Chirrut Datacron. That would be a 3-team combo. I don't think it's worth it, so I'm going to say that these two are going to be your best options. Now, this one, I am looking forward to this one the most, because I think this one is going to be sick. Darth Vader shoots first. That's pretty much what this is going to be. If you have the Palpatine level 9, and the bonus turn for Sith 6, you're going to have a dangerous combo, because whoever kills Palpatine is getting instant defeated if they're not a Galactic Legend. And Darth Vader Duels N starts the encounter with less than 100% health. He is going to be gaining a bonus turn. That's why I said Han Solo, Darth Vader shoots first. He practically gets a bonus turn at the beginning of the encounter. So that is deadly, especially with his Omicrons. It's a bonus turn double fracture for any team that doesn't have a Galactic Legend. You better bring in a strong counter, because this will absolutely steamroll you, especially when he does his fracture ability. You lose 100% accuracy. Mara Jade is going to come in and manipulate the turn meter. My God, going to be one of the best teams on defense this season, and hopefully the counters are somewhat decent. We no longer have DTMG available, so we're going to have to see. Next up, Commander Cody with his Focus Datacron. This team was actually surprisingly a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I was able to beat it on defense with Tuskens, but it's kind of a mixed bag depending on the Relic Delta and the Datacron you bring in. So, is it an impossible team to beat? Absolutely not. Is it a strong team? Yes. Have to bring the right counters. Don't want to overkill it. Surprisingly very strong. I'm a big fan of it for his defense this season. Next up, Enoch with Night Trooper and Death Trooper Peridia. Losing viability a little bit because the Night Trooper Kron is going away, but still a very solid team. You could do something with high defense or the max health damage with the Blight. It is a very strong team regardless of, typical counters. CLS can beat it. It's a little dicey if you don't have the right Datacron, so no matter what, this is still a solid 3v3 team regardless of the Night Trooper Kron or not. Next up, Yoda and Chewie. Now, this team is going down in viability because we no longer have the Yoda and Chewie focused Datacron, but still a tough team with the Omicron turned on. I think Clone Wars Chewbacca, a lot of players are going to have it high relic because of that $5 pack. So I'm going to throw in Clone Wars Chewbacca. If you wanted to make a super team, you would throw in Zalbar, but I have plans for Zalbar on another team, or even throw in regular Chewbacca to put guard on someone. That's another option as well, but I think Clone Wars Chewie is a pretty good tank here and works really well with the defense, so I think this is going to be a pretty decent team. Next up, Inquisitor Barriss. Now, she does have a Datacron with the Inquisitor level 6, like the wordy one, so this team could do pretty well. I think it's very easily beaten by Gas, but regardless, if Gas does beat it, it's a 54 banner win, which is a win for you. So, don't really have a real tunnel vision for what to use it on offense, so I will be putting it on defense this season. If you have the Omicron, Second Sister can end up hitting really hard, and I haven't tested it yet with the wordy Inquisitor 6, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how this will perform. Next up, Boba Fett Sign of Jango with Asajj. Probably the second strongest team that has come out of that era has been the Asajj Ventress team. They are simply insane. I was able to beat a Lord Vader in 5v5 last season like it was nothing with the Asajj focused Datacron. Obviously, we no longer have that. We have the, I believe, Scoundrel still from the previous set. I think it's Scoundrel, which can still be used here. So this one's going to be very strong still. Going to be a good defensive squad. Next up, Stormtrooper Luke with Han and Leia. We do have Leia with a Datacron. We have a Rebel Kron level 6. Will it be as strong as the Focus Datacron? Probably not. Still a tough team. I think it's very opened up to Darth Revan and Omicron Zalbar, which is my go-to counter, but if you are doing that, it is a 54 banner win for your opponent, which is not as efficient, so that's kind of like a win for you in the grand scheme of things if it's an efficiency battle. But this team, very, very solid for defense. Next up, Resistance. If I was going to set resistance on defense, I would probably put a turn meter on a special Kron because this team is all about turn meter. If you have a very fast Resistance hero Finn, he gets out ahead, he can do his thing, they hit exposes, turn meter train starts to roll. So if you have a turn meter level 6 on a special, or level 3, sorry, turn meter gains on a special ability level 3, they can kind of get the thing going. So this is going to be a solid team. Almost done with the defensive list. Got a couple more teams. We're going to mention Trench with Django and Count Dooku. More of a filler team. Count Dooku does have a level 9 that when he loses riposte, he gets a bunch of other benefits. We pair this in with the Sith Stun level 6. I know I didn't rank it super high on my Datacron video, but if you do have the 35% max health damage on a stun or stagger level 6, this works really well with Dooku because 2 of his abilities include stuns. So that's a lot of damage coming from Dooku if you're going to pair that with him. Pair that with Django and Admiral Trench. Going to be a solid team. Next up, Mace Windu coming back on defense because of the Galactic Republic set, as well as the Depa Billaba level 9. Going to be solid. Don't know how it's going to perform yet on, as a whole. Will it shut down the Sith? That's going to be the biggest question. If it shuts down the Sith, that's going to be pretty good. If it doesn't, then more Sith food for Traya to take out Mace or Malgus. So we're going to have to see. I think he's going to be back on defense, though, because he's still a solid team with the Depa level 9. So we'll see. Next up, mentioning ISB. ISB is the next set of team, or the new team, to come to the game with the previous Andor era, and they do have a Focus Datacron. Here's the thing. If this team doesn't perform as well as it would with the Focus Datacron, that Focus Datacron is going to be used for Galactic Legends teams. I can tell you that right now. The stats are phenomenal. Not as strong as the Yoda and Chewie Kron from the previous set, but the stats are almost there. I think they're just losing like half the health or something like that. Something that's getting halved. But it's a solid Datacron. But this team, I'm hoping, does well in 3v3. There are some Omicrons paired with them. So hopefully they can get some holes for me. Now, the last team on the defensive list, and this one's kind of like a throw a bunch of Sith together team without destroying any other Sith team. Maul with his Datacron with Talon and Bastila Shan Fallen. The reason Bastila Shan Fallen is in here because that if she has synergy with Fear and Shock, she's giving extra offense to all the Sith allies, which could be pretty nice. But here's my biggest gripe with the Maul and the whole Sith Crons in general. Maz Kanata makes all the fun with the Sith go away because she absolutely just destroys them. So, let's say I wanted to combine like a Maul team lead with like Sith Eternal and Savage or something like that. I could put that expensive team down with an awesome, fun Datacron, but Maz Kanata is just going to simply walk over it. So it's like, do I really want to combine my really strong Sith to get walked over by Maz? My goal here would be, okay, my opponent, I sent Maul Datacron on the front wall, and I want him to use his Maz Kanata here so I could save another Sith team in the back or something like that. But that's the biggest problem with the Sith Datacron, is that Maz Kanata walks right over it. So I'm thinking my leftover Sith will do pretty good here. I'm going to use Darth Revan with either Mission Zalbar Omicron or with Malgus. So Bastila Shan fits in perfectly here. And Talon, I'm not using in 3v3 with Traya. So kind of like a filler Sith team that maybe can do some work. But that took a little bit of time. I wanted to go over everything in detail. That's going to wrap up the defensive category. We're not going to move on to the offense. Starting out the offensive list, we got to talk about Wampa and her Focus Datacron. Definitely usable in 3v3. I was able to get a lot done with Wampa last season, and I'm hoping we can punch up even more this season. Can it be Galactic Legends? Absolutely. Might not see a lot of Jabbas on defense this season because of Wampa, but Wampa on offense gotta be a staple. If you don't use Wampa, her Focus Datacron is going to be very good on other teams, so you might see them with some Galactic Legend teams. Next up, Leia Organa. Very solid. Not going to be as defensive viable as she would have been in 5v5. Yes, we have the Drogon Focus Datacron, but I don't know. I feel like if you're going to see Leia on defense, you're going to see either people use Jabba, you can use Kylo. So maybe Leia could be used on defense, but me personally, I think she's better in 3v3 offense than on defense. Obviously, Drogon's Focus Datacron is very nice. You get a bonus turn. A lot of players are probably going to use it against Ahsoka. Going to be my backup for Ahsoka if Great Mothers don't work. So, going to have different options depending on my opponent's board, but Leia, offensive always for the most part. Next up, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren with Hux and Darkseid Rey. Primarily going to be used for Pirate King Hondo this season. Going to be RNG with the cooldown increases, but you have Hux that prevents the turn meter gains from all enemy teams if he has advantage. It's such a powerful mechanic and essential with countering Hondo with a 25% turn meter cron. Highly suggest if you're going to run Kylo, run him with a 25% turn meter Dark Side Kron. It is going to be the best for him to get out ahead and make sure you outrun the enemy Hondo team. As solid as it comes. Next up, talking about a pair here, and rule it too. Sith Eternal Bane. Very powerful, one of the strongest offensive teams in this game. Might as well combine them for the most part because they are simply so powerful together and can practically take out almost any team on the roster besides maybe a handful. If you don't feel like doing that, separate Bane. If you're going to use him against Lord Vader, swap out Sith Empire Trooper for Dooku, makes it a little bit easier. But for the most part, if you want to keep Dooku with Trench, use Sith Empire Trooper or Sith Assassin, and Bane is going to do the work. You guys know how Bane is. Powerful, powerful team. Next pair we have to talk about is JMK, and the first one's going to be a standard lineup with JMK, Cat, and Kenobi. Good at taking out Jabba, good at taking out a number of other teams. Solid as it comes, banner recovery, insta-kills, very, very good. Now, if you want to take out Pirate King Hondo with Vayne, get rid of Kenobi and throw in Wat Tambor. That's why I have him on the offensive list, because if you're going to use JMK with Cat to take out Hondo, you need Wat Tambor for his weapon tech because he prevents revives if you get killed by an opponent with the weapon tech. So it is essential if you want Kenobi to beat Hondo. Hopefully you live long enough to take out the other side and get rid of Hondo. You have enough damage, but this is going to be the combination. These two, definitely the pair. Next up, JML, and I'm pairing JML with Jedi Knight Luke and Jedi Knight Cal Kestis. Desperately waiting for a JML lifter. We definitely need one because I feel like what I was using JML for last season was primarily to take out like Bad Batch on defense. I have to figure out what I want to do for him this season. I don't think he's a good defensive viable team. I think he gets walked over by a lot. But if I am to use him, it's going to be with Jedi Knight Luke and Cal. By far the best combination for him. Next up, Ufus. Now, Cal is being restored to his normal home with a Seer Malicos lineup. Very, very good. Might be my go-to Rey lineup counter this season, because if I'm going to go against Cassian and I want to try to use Queen Amidala, I'm going to have to get this counter to work pretty consistent. So, Cal is back home with the Ufus and hopefully able to take out Rey with Luminara this season. Very, very good for offense. Which goes to the next team, Bo-Katan Mandalore. I just came out with a video of a counter guide on how to get Bo to counter Lord Vader in 5v5. In 3v3, I haven't had much success unless it was very dependent on a particular datacron of that meta, which was like whenever an ally attacks, all allies attack or assist or something like that. It was a while ago. In 3v3, it's trickier. But she's as solid as it comes because she can take out a number of meta teams. So I like throwing in IG-12 in Grogu and Paz Vizsla. If you don't feel like using Paz, use your Beskar Armor Mandalorian. He has very good synergy with IG-12 and damage immunity. So, very good offensive team. The problem is the banners. It's more than likely going to be a 54. But I love this team. Very accessible. Another team I've been having so much fun with is Dr. Aphra with BT1 and IG-90. I think IG-90 has been such a fun addition to this team. No longer have the IG-90 focused Datacron, but I'm hoping without it, it's still viable in Grand Arena. I mean, this guy is so much fun. The banner recovery, the taunt on the commando droid, with all the damage from BT1, the assisting. It's a very fun team, and I think it's going to be very solid on offense. Has still kind of easy counters on defense that I don't want to, waste away, so I think Aphra on offense is going to be fun. Now, this team, I probably should have gotten rid of it because this counter is dead to Jabba, but it can still be used to cheese out other teams. So if you see Saul Guerrero on defense without Luthen, you can use Night Sisters against it with the Marin Omicron. I personally haven't reapplied it yet. Don't really think I'm going to. Yes, I have a stockpile of Omicrons, but I'm not going to get much use out of it. But I did keep it on the list because it still has cheese potential against non-GL teams, just not against Jabba, unfortunately. Now, one of my favorite teams in the game and my favorite era and faction of Star Wars, the Old Republic. Satele is going to be 100% an offensive team. Her two hard counters walk over her. Sith Eternal Emperor Solo, great mothers. Absolutely destroy Satele on defense. She has so much better use on offense for taking out galactic legends like Jabba, Lord Vader, taking out Stranger Maul, depending on the Datacron. Very fun team, super solid. She's a beast at Relic 10. I'm considering putting Relic 10 on her very soon. Not just because she's a good character, but she's a fun character in the universe. So Satele, definitely up there. Next up on offense, I think Nihilus with the Focus Datacron on offense is good. Because it can help take out Revas with Grand Inquisitor Datacron. He's not... Again, the problem with him on defense is Maz Kanata. That's why he's on offense. I don't want a heavy investment-focused Datacron like that to be taken out by Maz Kanata with a very basic Datacron. So, I think Nihilus on the offense to take out a number of meta squads is going to be the way to go. CLS is on the list because he's very good at taking out Enoch. He can sometimes take out regular Starkiller lineups. So, not that I'm saying this is mostly for an endgame perspective, but if anyone sets Emperor Palpatine, Mara Jade, and Starkiller on defense, CLS can still take it out. So I do want to include him on the list. Definitely not as strong as he used to be, but still has a use no matter what. Next up, Radis with his Datacron paired with Jin and K2SO. Not good on defense because the team below it walks right over it. You do not want that to happen, but this team can be used for hopefully to take out the ISB. That's going to be my main testing grounds, is to see if Radis can take out ISB with his Datacron, but it's all trial and error. We're going to have to see, but definitely not defense, offensive team. Next up is going to be Phoenix, and primarily to take out the Radis squad. We do have a Hera Datacron that can be used to insta-kill. I'm hoping that we can find a use for it in 3v3. More of a use in TW, to be honest with you. But, again, very solid. Going to be my primary use to take out this team if I see it on defense. Next up, we have Maul. Maul with the Canderous. That's supposed to be Gar Saxon. Hold on, guys. Do not do that one. Let me fix that really quick. It's supposed to be Gar Saxons. I get so confused between them both because they literally look the same. I don't know if anyone else does that, but they're so similar. They're both like older Chads. I don't know how to describe it, but that's my fault. Gar Saxon and Imperial Super Commando going to be the combination. Very an offensive team. They can take out like a resistance team. More of like a GL cleanup squad, but his viability has gone down a little bit. He's mostly better in 5v5 with a UFU squad, but still very solid. Next up, DTMG. Viability going down, unfortunately, because we lost the Moff Gideon Kron. That thing was really fun. Helped me take care of Darth Vader Duel's End, sometimes strangers. It was so much fun. Not a terrible team. Going back to being a decent team in Grand Arena. Very solid in TW, but yeah, not a defensive team. Can get walked over by Radis very easily, so mostly offense. And the last team I want to talk about on offense is going to be Padme with Snips and Moff Gideon. In case you're not going to use him with DTMG with the Snips Datacron. Very powerful stuff with protection up and synergy. They're going to be one-shotting people. So, this could be used to take out an UFU team on defense. If you see a Malicos team with no crew on defense, this can help walk right through it, especially paired with the focus or with the Datacron for Snips and the protection up level 3 and the wordy Galactic Republic 6. Going to be very fun for Grand Arena this season. Don't know about the defensive viability. I think Malak solo can still walk through them, especially if you use the Darth Revan focused Datacron, but hopefully has a use on offense. That's going to wrap up the very long offensive list. That might be the longest offensive list I've ever printed or had in a video before, but final category, the flex. All right, last category, the flex, my personal favorite. Starting it out is going to be Jabba the Hutt. Not on defense exclusively this season because of Wampa and the Focus Datacron, and he actually has some really good use on offense. Can help take out Baylan with the Focus Datacron, can help take out Leia with the Drogon Datacron. So I'm not going to be completely sold on Jabba being a full-blown defensive Galactic Legend at the moment. He has still a great use on offense, but can still be used on both. Be careful when setting him. Make sure you set a good Datacron to prevent the Wampa solo. But regardless, Jabba, great team. Next up, Maz Kanata. Reason why I'm putting in SM33 and Kix here is because this could be a potential Lord Vader counter. Now, OG Hano, I'm putting with other squads. Kix could be used with the Commander Cody squad, but this is specifically to take out Lord Vader. Now, on defense, it's solid because SM33 hits really hard, and Kix is going to be a very annoying reviving character. If you don't deal with Kix fast enough, you're in trouble. But if you also don't deal with Maz Kanata, she's going to increase your cooldowns and give you death marks. So, very good at taking out Sith. Still solid on defense. Didn't put Quiggold because I'm putting him with Hondo. If you guys want to swap out Kix with Quiggold, absolutely fine. This is just what I'm going to be rocking on day one. Queen Amidala. Now, just want to boast a little bit here. Want to brag. Gonna hide my webcam. I put the Relic 10. No regrets. Great character. One of the best teams in this game. top 3 conquest unit in my opinion, maybe number 3. Queen Amidala, so solid, very good at taking out Galactic Legend Ray, a number of other squads. Also very solid on defense. Yes, there are certain counters that could get rid of her, kind of, niche, but requires a good Datacron. One of the best teams in this game, viable on both defense and offense. Absolutely love them. Speaking of which, probably my favorite team in the game, top 3 on Vex's list. Great Mothers, and very, very good. I mean, what can you not love about them? They can take out every Galactic Legend in the game. I'm going to be trying to see if I can get them to work against Ahsoka Ezra this season. I recently remodded them and bumped up their speeds. I got them to 351 speed from 340, so I brought them up 11 speed. Or maybe 10 speed. They were at 341, I think. So 351, and my Morgan I bumped up to 349. So I'm ready to tackle the higher Ezras. I'm getting closer to the top 50. I have to be ready, and I hope you guys start to prepare too. So good on offense, and even on defense, they can be pretty tricky if you don't have the right counter. So solid anywhere you go. Next up, Bad Batch, a team I have neglected for too long. Going down in viability because we are losing the Bad Batch Cron and Crosshair level 9. It was so much fun. They're not as good in 3v3 as they would be in 5v5, but still require a pretty decent team. You can't just bring in any crappy team to go against it. Bad Batch, as solid as they come, both on offense and defense. Next up, we have General Skywalker with Rex and 5s. Very solid team. Gas definitely was one of the best characters in this game at one point. Has gone down as, the years have passed, but still used in Kyber 1. Still used in Grand Arena. Rex and 5s can help take out a Tusken squad, can help take out a Saw Gerrera squad if you're in a pinch. The biggest problem with this team is mana recovery. And on defense, if you set it on defense, it might get your opponent to use a Sith Eternal solo against it, and then your opponent's down to Sith Eternal. So, kind of puts your opponent in a sticky situation and a tough situation to decide, what do I want to use against General Skywalker, if I want to overkill it or not. Solid as it comes. Now, next up, pair combination. Again, I'm going to show the next 3. We have a Malgus-led team with Revan and Malak, and then we have one with Basilisk Shan instead of Revan, because it's going to pair him with the 3rd team with Darth Revan, Zalbar, and Mission. So this is going to be your triple pair combination, along with the Maul team in the front. Can be used on both, depending on where you are in Kyber. We do have a bunch of Sith teams, but just keep in mind, if you do set a Sith team on defense, their opponent, if they have Maz Kanata, could practically walk right over it. So just be cautious of it. I personally think Malgus is going to be better on offense, but he's still defensive viable, especially with a Sith Datacron set. Just the biggest problem is Maz Kanata. I can't stress it enough. If Maz Kanata wasn't in the equation, then we'd be talking a little bit. And Darth Revan with Zalbar Omicron, very good at taking out very tough squads on offense like Great Mothers and Stormtrooper Luke with the Omicron. But on defense, kind of makes you have to do a big decision. Yes, your opponent can use a JML solo against it. It's very possible. But it does require a GL to do that. So this team, still very good. I think the Zalbar Omicron is underrated, and I probably am going to increase him to Relic 8. I keep forgetting to do it. I want to do it before the Grand Arena season starts. So good reminder. I'm actually going to write that down as we speak to increase the Relic level on my Zalbar, so I can remember. But next team, Reva. Reva with the Grand Inquisitor level 9. Very, very good. On defense, it probably is going to get walked over by Seer Unaligned Force users, but on offense, can take out very good squads. Maybe can take out Leia. If I see a Leia on defense, maybe Inquisitors could take them out in 3v3. We're going to have to see. But regardless of where you put them, they're going to require a very strong team. And just got to keep your eyes open for them. But going to be used this season. This is going to be a filler team, but I feel like I have to include her. Jocasta Nu is a conquest character. If you're going to use her, I'm going to suggest her with Kelleran Beck and Shaak Ti. I am not going to put Temple Guard. I think Temple Guard is better with Mace because of the captive in the beginning. So this team could be countered by bounty hunters. You got to be cautious of it. But on offense, it can help take out some of those mid teams, or not mid teams, but middle teams like Captain Enoch with Night Trooper and Death Trooper Peridius. So still has a use, still solid, just not a top of the line S tier. Next up, Gungans. Gungans, very solid, but not as good in 3v3 as they are in 5v5. Lots of counters, but they can take out Separatists. They could take out like Grievous and Trench. Very, very solid. On defense, they require like a Treyer, a Bo-Katan Mandalore, sometimes a Mon Mothma team. But have to include them on the list because they are a pretty good squad. Next up, Tarkin. Both viable on offense and defense. Can take out Tuskens. Require a decent team on defense. A lot of players used to use Palpatine, Mara Jade, and Thrawn. But now that we have Darth Vader Dual Zen, that's a very overkill kind of team. So have to be cautious of what you use here, that it's not complete overkill. But on offense, they have a very good use as well. So they're in the flex category. Next up, Omicron Qui-Gon Jinn with Ki-Adi-Mundi and Anakin. We do have a Galactic Republic Cron. This could see a resurgence, so we're going to have to see. Also, if you weren't going to use the Luminara Cron with Rey, you could end up using the Ki-Adi-Mundi Cron here with Qui-Gon Jinn. I don't know if the Datacron is bugged. The Datacron seems to not be working in Squad Arena testing, but maybe it'll be fixed by Grand Arena. But he does get an instant kill and a free revive. I don't think it brings back Qui-Gon, but it can bring back Anakin. So, could see some fun stuff with Qui-Gon Jinn this season. Keep that in mind. And the final team in the flex category is going to be Tuskens. And this is normally a defensive team for me. But the fact that they can beat so many turn meter heavy teams on defense is pretty solid. Like the Cody clones. I used them to take out Cody clones multiple times last season. I probably have to bump up their relic levels to 7 to get that to work consistently. But regardless, solid team. Annoying on defense if you don't have the right counters. And that's going to wrap up this list. Wow, that one took a while. But these teams are, there's a lot of teams in the game. The board is somewhat pretty decent. Obviously, we're not going to be able to use all these squads. I want to give as many possible situations and scenarios as I can because it's a long season. You got to change it up. There's many team combinations. Some players might not have these teams. They might have these, mix and match. So that's why I included so many. But I want to know what you guys think down below. Do you guys think this list is accurate? What do you agree with? Was there anything that I missed that you suggest that I put on the list for next time, or I should use on my Grand Arena defense? So if you guys did enjoy this, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more content and to support your boy Vex for future videos like this. And may the Force be with you all, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.